This is Frank Islam, Chairman and CEO of FI Investment Group and your host of Washington Current Review, where we interview leading voices from business and politics that impact you, the viewer. Today we're fortunate to have a distinguished guest who's a personal friend who does a great job to service to our community, Mike Ghouse. Thank you, Mike, for coming.
Pleased to be here, Frank.
So tell me a little bit about yourself, and also remember, I interviewed you 3 years ago. What have you done since then?
Quite a lot. 3 years is a lifetime to achieve many things.
Sure.
First of all, Frank, I'm pleased to know you.
Sure.
You are a blessing to not only Indian community in general, but Muslim community in particular.
Well, thank you.
You have paved the way in effective philanthropy by establishing Debbie and Frank Management Center at the Ellicott University.
Correct.
And that shows your commitment to education. And you believe education is the only way or a secure way to create robust democracies and uplift all the communities in a nation. And towards that end, you have done a lot of things. One of them is bringing journalists from overseas and giving them the orientation how to sustain robust democracies. And the other thing I really like about what you've done that I admire is what our motherland is going through India right now. There are apprehensions, tensions. In that time, the only thing the public wants is hope, a positive message. You have funded news media where they can put out positive news to the community. When everything is going wrong, a small positive news gives so much hope. And that is what India needs right now. And you are giving it. I appreciate and admire your work.
Thank you very, very much. So on that note, about building an inclusive, a fairer, tolerant India, and that will make it stronger. So tell us a little bit about the center that you involved in it, what's the missions, what's the goals, what objective, and how you bringing the people together.
Well, the Center for Pluralism is a product of what the chaos, the divisiveness that was going on in the country. It was creating division. And
they have to go beyond the angry partisanship. They have to rise above that.
Exactly, that's what happened. I was with Bridget Gabriel on Fox News for about 30 times.
Okay.
And she is very focused on the right side of the equation. And she kind of divides the nation. And I took the opposite. She was inspiring to me. Okay, Bridget, you do that. I'm going to bring Americans together. And that's how the Foundation for Center for Pluralism began, to bring Americans together in social, political, religious, work-related events so we can know each other. The more we know each other, the fewer the conflicts would be.
As you know, a society that's inclusive, that gives an inclusive economic mobility to all the people, regardless of caste, creed, religion, race, background, and belief, it brings a strength to America and to the world. People need to realize that when they succeed, all of us succeed, India succeed, America succeed, and the world succeed. We need to extend our hand, our hope, our help to those who are socially, economically disadvantaged, to those who are forgotten, to those who are voiceless. We need to give them a dimmer of hope so we can bring the people together.
Let me add to that point. I would not consider helping the poor people, uplifting the poor as charity. I look to it as an investment in human development.
Oh, I totally agree.
If the society, we can raise 15 million people from poverty to this through investment in education and jobs, we got 15 million more consumers for our products. So the whole society benefits from that.
That's very well said. The education is a gift that keeps on giving, and education uplifts the heart, mind, and soul.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about the center that you're involved in, and you mentioned about the mission, goals, and objectives. What benefits does the American derive from this, and what's the benefit to the business and the common man in the community?
Very good question. I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to expand on it.
Sure.
Take a family, take a business, take a community. Each place, a number of people operate together to create a normal sequence. A business thrives well when Everybody in the business is working well together. They're not working in opposite directions. Let me give you a concrete example.
Sure, please do
Four
so.
guys, 4 people working in an office, enjoying every day, go to the office. 6 months down the road, they realize, hey, we need to go to lunch together. So they go to lunch. When they go to lunch, they didn't know each other. The food arrives on the table on the 4 sides. Let me dramatize that. On one side, the guy wanted to eat beef, he's got a bull head on his plate. The guy who wanted to eat pork chops has a pork head, pig head on the chop, vegetarian and then. Now we can do 2 scenes as why pluralism is important. First scenario, when the food arrives, all of a sudden the vegetarian person can say, look you guys, you know the cow is sacred to me, I don't eat cow. You got this bullhead sitting right in front of me. How dare you, or how insensitive you are, don't you care about me? And the Jewish or the Muslim guy can say, look, I don't eat pork, pork is prohibited for me. You got this pork sitting facing me, how cruel you are. Everybody gets tense. And they may not talk again, they go back to the office.
So what would a person in a situation like this will do to bring the people together?
Exactly, teaching of pluralism. Pluralism is respecting the otherness of other. Take a Christmas evening. Your brother and sister get a Christmas gift. Brother jumps, says, sister, I'm so glad you got the iPad you were talking about. She says, I'm glad you got the iPhone you were talking about. Bring this pluralism attitude to the same dining table. The food arrives on the same table. All of a sudden, the vegetarian person says,
You're sharing a sense of community,
Say
a sense
exactly.
of togetherness.
indeed. And the
That
person
makes us stronger, that's what you're saying.
Right. The person says,
Sure.
I'm so glad you're eating, you were talking about steak, I hope you enjoyed. You were talking about pork chops, I hope you enjoyed. What's happened is nothing has changed, the same food, same thing, but attitude of respecting the otherness has
and
changed.
the behavior itself.
And what does it do? You ask me about business. When they go back to business, their productivity does not decline. When they go back home, they are not tense. They're happy. They're giving 100% to their family. They're giving 100% to their job. These are the benefits of pluralism. I can give a variety of real examples.
I'm sure you can. So my question to you is, this administration, and as you know, reigning in terror and hatred and bigotry to the immigrants, to the people of color, to the hardworking minorities. How do you cope in a situation like this? Democracy is descending and autocracy is ascending in America, and also it is the case in India in some case as well. How do you go about changing the people's behavior? We do not live in darkest and ugliest past of America or India, so we need to bring the people in a manner that's effective and that brings the people together, because it is the strength and that's what makes the people become more stronger and fair and tolerant society. Tell us a little bit about it.
The key word is inclusion. In your family, in your office, in a community, in a politics, wherever you are, if a few people huddle together and exclude you from the conversation, you feel resentment. And when you feel resentment, you want to get even with them. Your energies are spent on getting even, getting back at them, rather than being productive. Inclusion is the key. I got to share this. I wrote an op-ed in Huffington Post 2 days before the election. It was a dream speech for Hillary Clinton. If she had spoken that, she would not have lost the election.
Well, I think there are a lot of other factors that she lost the election. I would say the Russian basically gave them her election and gave that election to Mr. Trump, and also the James Comey's statement did not also sway some elections.
I agree.
Only 75,000 vote that if it would have swung into her direction, she would have been president of the United States today.
But despite that,
I'm sure there are a lot of other things, and we can sit down and talk about it. But the fact of the matter is that's what swayed the election.
Well, real quick, despite that, if she had extended her arm to those disaffected Americans, I am having special programs for those of you living in small towns, those who have lost their jobs, who had good times. I want to have programs. She would have earned their sympathy.
Well, she
Trump
did.
captured that.
She did. She had obviously her answer was not not very sharp or one-liner or two-liner, so it was a 2 paragraphs because she's a very smart woman.
Indeed.
She's intelligent, she's smart, she's the most qualified person who ever ran for the President of the United States.
I agree with that.
So let's talk a little bit about the inclusiveness and the Muslim lynching, the lynching of the mob against the Muslims, what's going on in India. Tell us a little bit about that, what's going on and what's your thoughts on it and how you and your part of the organization can talk about it to make the people understand that this does not reflect the true sense of India, because India has been a beacon of hope, aspirations, and dream. India has been a beacon of democracy around the world. India has been also a beacon of secularism. So tell me a little bit about it.
Well, we have a very rich history, 5,000 years old of sabhyata, culture, tradition,
Right.
of pluralism, respecting the otherness of other. And that cannot be changed by one small incident. Unfortunately, in the last 4 years since Mr. Modi is the Prime Minister, his silence is causing a lot of conflicts. If he speaks up, all that it takes is for him to speak up and say, look guys, all are Indians, I'm Prime Minister for all, I will not tolerate any Indian to be denigrated the other, it will calm down. So the conflict about lynching that's going on, there are festering wounds from the past, whether real or perceived, they are there. What we need is a reconciliation in the likes of what Nelson Mandela did in South Africa. If Muslims, Christians, Hindus all sit together down, put on the table all the cards they have, all the gripes they have, and then figure out how do we live together, how do we change this. Much of the lynching will go down if Muslims acknowledge some of the excesses done by some of the kings. Of course, I'm not related to Akbar, I'm not related to Aurangzeb, I have nothing to do with them.
History. It's not atrocities of the Mughal kings, but it's the part of the history of India.
All kings did
that. It has been
that.
going on since the 9th century and until about, till the British took over, which is 1852.
And that's exactly what we need to sit down and discuss.
And they were born and raised in India. They didn't, like everybody else was. So I don't understand that could be a driving force for them to go against the people. But remember, there's 200 million Muslims, 200 million Dalit. If we educate them, we give them the opportunity, we give them inclusive economic mobility. If they succeed, India will succeed.
Absolutely.
400 million people are a lot of people. I want to talk a little bit about the fact that you're involved with this organization for a long time. If somebody wants to be engaged and involved and be part of this organization to help you, to support you, to move forward, how do they contact you? Tell us a little bit about that in the camera.
Well, first of all, you need to go to the website, centerforpluralism.com. It is all about creating a cohesive America where no American has to live in apprehension or fear of the other. It's about the freedom, how we enjoy the freedom. Go to the website, you can be a volunteer, sponsor, or whatever you want to do. We got workshops, we got programs to bring people together on pluralism in religion, pluralism in politics, pluralism in society. And we reach out to both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats, because we need all of us to work together. We are not about division, we are about inclusion, bringing people together. Together we are strong, Hillary Clinton's
She's
theme.
right. Together we're strong.
And together we can include all Americans. No American should be left out from the progress and prosperity we are seeing. So centerforpluralism.com is the website you need to go to. And there are about 2,000 videos.
2,000 videos?
On the YouTube.
Oh, so how do they subscribe to the YouTube channel?
YouTube, just go to the Center for Pluralism, youtube.com/Center for Pluralism.
Well, thank you very much, Mike, for coming. I appreciate your message, and I appreciate your message to the audience to bring in the people together, as Hillary Clinton said, that we can help shape a better future for America and India, as well as for the world. This is Frank Islam, wishing you a great week, and thank you for watching.